G'day, welcome to part 2. This is now about once you've set up a class notebook, doing what I consider the key feature, which is distributing a page. So once you're inside your class notebook like this, you can see that there's three major things: the collaboration space, the content library, and all of the kids. Remember, of course, that the kids can't see each other, they can just see themselves. And if you expand each kid, they've hopefully got the things you told them to have. So handouts, classwork, and assignments are the three folders I named up to begin with in terms of setup. If I want to change that, I can just go back to that class notebook link and manage the notebook to change that. For this lesson, what you mostly want to think about is this content library part. Okay, so if I go into the content library and click that first page, they've given me some info that I don't need, so I can just delete that and permanently delete. And this is in fact someone from history that I had earlier, so I'm also just going to delete that for the purpose of this video and make a new one. So if you go down here and you add a page, you might want to have it align to your first lesson in Canvas. So I might call this week 1, lesson 1, and we're inside 9C2 English already, so that will probably do. Once I'm inside this page, I could have anything. Hi, everyone. Here are some instructions, blah, 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 blah. Most of my lesson is on Canvas. They've watched a video on Canvas, they've clicked through on Canvas, and they've got to a point that says, bell work, do your bell work in OneNote. So then they come over here and they'll see that I've made a page where the first bit says bell work, and the task is, I don't know what I do for bell work. I've made them some kind of question that primes knowledge. Blah, 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 and they'll answer that here. Cool, then they'll go back to Canvas. They'll do lots of things, they'll read the reading that I say, and then I'll have said in Canvas, head to OneNote and write me a section summary of the 3 key ideas of that reading. So then in this lesson page, I'll have done reading activity, perhaps. I'll probably restate the instructions, so I'd say, write a short summary of reading, whatever it's called, below. And then I'll leave them a lot of space. Or you could put lines in for them, you could put in a table, whatever. Cool. And maybe that's all of the work that if they had a physical notebook at school, they would have filled in. Done. Easy. If there's anything else that would have been like I've said, I've previously put some tables in for them to complete, or any other writing tasks, you can put that down here. If you want to, you can actually embed documents in here. Given that we're using Canvas, it might not be that useful. You probably prefer to do it in there, but that is a feature that can happen. Cool, so let's say I've finished with that, I'm done. That's all the notes that I want this time. Up here, if I go to the tab on the ribbon called Class Notebook, and then I look for Distribute Page, and then I can choose. At the moment, I want it to go to all kids, so I'm going to choose Group Distribution. You can, though, in terms of when we get to differentiation, do an individual distribution. And in fact, you can also do that by different groups. So if I go to Group Distribution, right, the first thing you're going to want to do is set up a group called All Students, which I've done in the other ones, and it means that you can just press Next, and that's going to go to every kid. And it'll ask you, where do you want this? And I'll be like, well, this is classwork, so I'm going to choose that I want it to go in their classwork tab, and I'm going to press Distribute. That's going to take a little while to fully get done. But while we're thinking about it, right, if you go back and you collect a new group, let's say I've differentiated by, I've put my kids into reading levels ability or writing level ability, and I want to have I know that red group, they won't see this, is going to be these 5 kids because their literacy is not that great, and the green group is going to be my really high flyers who need extension tasks. You can then distribute different pages to different groups. So you might say in Canvas, everybody go and attempt the writing task in OneNote, and little do they know that red group has got a writing prompt that's a bit more simple, and green group has got a writing prompt that's a bit more difficult. So that's also another good way to differentiate without any kind of social embarrassment, etc. Now, hopefully this has happened. It takes a little while sometimes for that page to distribute, like several minutes, not ages. But ideally, when you come back in and I check under one of those kids, so let's say I've gone into Jack Barrett here, and I'm going to go into his classwork because that's where I told it to go. Here he goes, he's got a page there for himself called Week 1 Lesson 1. Actually, that's the one I did earlier, so we'll just pretend that's the one I just did. Here's the actual one, it's just appeared. This was my test page. Cool. So it's not quite happening yet. It hasn't synced. That's fine. In 5 minutes, that will turn up and he will have a page that looks just like this fake Bellwork one I made. He can type into that. He can go, oh, my answer to the question is this. And it will only appear in Jack's version of that page. So later, when I want to mark his bookwork, I'll go through and I can see either Jack didn't complete any of these tasks, bring, get on to Canvas, or I can add feedback by just clicking elsewhere on the page and going, great work. I can put that in red to show that it's my feedback, etc., etc. The possibilities are indeed endless. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing or with my normal rapid speaking voice. I'm by no means an expert on this. I just basically did some Googling, but I'm more than happy to help if anyone's confused. So yeah, good luck.